Hey, how you doing? Scott here. So I'm here to make another video, and Ellen is not with me yet again. She is traveling, but this time not for work. So I need to get out a video because my commitment is to put out one video per week. What's really odd is I've been watching YouTube channels for a long time, and what I've noticed is, and I said I was never going to do this, creators will build a thumbnail and it's clickbait. And then a lot of things that they do is like drama, and sometimes it's even fake drama, exaggerated drama, and sometimes it's legit. Sometimes it is, something truly happened and it's content worthy, or they just want to tell their story. And I'm not really trying to begrudge them, okay? But there's a couple of creators that do it pretty frequently, and it's a shame that they got to do that. But on the other hand, they've got an audience that's listening to it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. So who am I to judge anybody? So my thumbnail for this is probably going to be a little bit, look like clickbait, and it is a little bit of drama. So the reason I'm doing this video by myself is because Ellen's traveling to take care of our daughter, who plays lacrosse at a college level, and she injured herself 2 weeks ago. In a practice, she tore her ACL on her right leg. So that's not the first time she's done this. She did that about 3 or 4 years ago on her left leg. And luckily then she came back very, very strong from that. She was devastated. It was at the beginning of the season and she lost that whole season. Devastated. She thought that was going to be the season that she was going to really accomplish all of her goals. Turns out that didn't happen that season. She recovered and she came back the following season or the season after, and she got all the accolades she had set out to get. She won a national championship, and that was great. She advanced up to Division I this past year, and unfortunately she had this injury is a career ending, or at least a season ending, but this is her last year of eligibility anyway. This will be her 7th year in college. She would have been playing lacrosse. So Ellen, we're down here in Florida. She's up in Syracuse, so Ellen made the trip in about the middle of the week. So the other unfortunate thing, you'll notice that you probably don't see my dog Harley back here. And a lot of people that are here at the resort probably already know this, although we haven't been telling a lot of people just because we haven't been out. I haven't been out walking the dog. Ellen hasn't been here out walking the dog. So some people here probably think we left. So on Sunday night, Harley was going to jump up on the bed as she usually does, and she missed and she fell. And she fell, it made a big thump. Now, I don't want to get everybody too scared. She's fine. Well, she's not fine. She's okay. And I'll explain all of that to you. So she went to jump up on the bed and fell. Boom, big thud. And it was about 10:30 at night. We had the lights shut off. And Ellen got out of the bed to go help her, and she walked away from that, went over to her bowls in the kitchen, and then we brought her back in. I think we put her up on the bed at that point. The next morning, we get up, and I don't know if she jumped off the bed or not. In the morning, she's like a lazy teenager. She just won't get out of bed. We have to nudge her and whatnot. So I took her outside. She did her business. She walked down the stairs by herself. She seemed fine. She was moving a little bit slow, but I figure it was because she, fell off the bed and probably bruised herself or something. So, like I said, I did a few errands, and then I had wanted to bring her out to a dog park, or actually just a park where I let her run free off leash. And she'll go and she'll chase a couple of squirrels, and I'll throw a lacrosse ball and she'll chase the lacrosse ball. So I brought her down there. Now, she usually will jump into the truck by herself, and it's a car, SUV, not the towing truck. So she'll typically be hesitant, but she'll jump into that. This morning she wasn't doing that, so again, I thought she might have been a little bit sore, so I put her in. Brought her to the park. I'm not sure if she jumped out of the vehicle at that point or whatever, but we went out. I had her on leash for a little bit, took her off the leash, and then I was talking to some people that I see there quite often. They were debating what kind of dog she is, because she looks like a lab, but she's not a lab. And they were saying, oh yeah, she's a retriever, throw the ball. And they're teasing me because they know that I always do that with her. And I threw the ball, but she wouldn't chase it. And I thought that was kind of odd. I figured again, she was a little sore maybe. She went around, she ate some grass, she walked all over the place. It looked pretty fine, but she just wouldn't chase the ball. So I gathered her up, We're done. She, did more business and whatnot. And I brought her back to the RV, and I just wanted to check her out. So I touched her on her side, kind of down near the hip, and she gave a little whine, a little yelp, and I touched her leg, and she did the same. She wasn't limping or anything, so that kind of didn't tell me much. But I figured out that I would call a vet. So I called a vet. They didn't have room, so they referred me to an emergency vet, and I brought her there. I started bringing her there. About 3/4 of the way, she's not getting comfortable in the seat next to me where I usually have her there and I hold her. So she got up on my lap, and then all of a sudden she lets out a yelp and her legs go really, really prone, really stiff, and she's yelping and she can't get comfortable and she starts panting. I literally thought she was going to die in my lap. So I was very close to the emergency veterinary place, so I brought her in, and at that point her rear legs weren't working. I had to carry her in. And so they brought her in, and they were puzzled. They say, "What happened? What caused this?" And I said, "I don't know. She fell off the bed last night. She was fine this morning. This happened." I told her basically the same story I just explained to you guys. And so they brought her in, they settled her down, and then they did some preliminary testing, and they found out she must have hurt her spine or something else going on. So they recommended that I go to a veterinary neurologist, which I didn't know there was such a thing, but I figure, everything has a specialty. So turns out that there are only 100 in the world, according to a website I went to, and one of the better ones is right here near Sarasota. So I got referred to them, and they waited to get a slot. The doctor was traveling about, but he would be back later in the day. And the process was to give her an MRI to check out what the injury is. So I brought her over to there, and the doctor wasn't there yet, so I left her there. A few hours later, the doctor calls us, did the MRI, and he explains to us that she had, when she fallen, she must have twisted or banged or hit her back and her spine and compressed the L13 and kind of herniated or ruptured it a bit. And there was a little bit of bone fragment that had gotten into the spinal canal, I guess, and there was a hemorrhage there, and I guess it swelled, and that pushed pressure on the nerves, and that caused her legs not to work. And so he's going through all of what is, all that he needs to do, what happened, and how he was going to address it. And he was quite confident, sounded quite confident of what he was going to do, and the success rate was like 92%. And I was waiting for him to, like, the other shoe to drop. But, we can't do that. That's if this other thing didn't happen, then we could do that, but we can't. And I said, so tell me the other shoe's going to drop. And he says, no, that's it. I said, okay, well, how do you feel about this? Is this something extraordinary for you to do, or is it he says, no, I do it all the time. That's what I do. He says, it's a simple procedure. It's delicate, but she should do fine. So I said, okay, go ahead and do it. So that was about 5 to 7 o'clock on Monday. And then they didn't have any overnight. That's the only night that they don't have overnight service. So we had to pick her up after surgery and bring her yet to another place for the overnight stay. And so we went there, picked her up around, I don't know, it must have been 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and brought her over just across the parking lot, really, into another facility that would monitor overnight. And so we brought her there, and then we had to pick her up at 6:30 in the morning because the place closed at 7 a.m. and they closed for the next 2 days. So we had to pick her up. We got up from our RV, woke up early in the morning, 5 o'clock or so, and we drove about 25 minutes, got there around 6 o'clock, and she saw us, and she was a little bit lit up, and she was happy to see us. And we brought her home, and she has been convalescing here. I've been here taking care of Harley, while Ellen is up taking care of our daughter in Syracuse. So here's a little bit of footage of Harley and a couple of pictures that we took to give you an idea of what's going on. All right, so Harley's going to get a special breakfast this morning. I'll make her some scrambled eggs. So here she is now. She's home. That patch is where her incision is, and then she had another patch up on her neck there. You can see the little tape mark still there where she had a patch of fentanyl, but it kind of wore out and fell off, so we took that off. And now she'll stand up and she'll move from like here over to here, but she won't, readily walk around. You can tell she smells the scrambled eggs, so I'm gonna go get the scrambled eggs I put on the plate. They should be cool enough now. Yeah, they're fine. Watch her gobble these up. So her appetite is certainly not, look, she knows it's coming. She knows what that is. There you go, Harley. Now, she can stand up, but she's just being lazy now. I don't need to force her to stand up. She'll have physical therapy in about another week or so, 10 days. Wow, gobbling it up. So there you go. That is the video that we have for this week. Unfortunately, it's not much about RV. I guess the lesson is that this stuff could have happened anywhere. It could have happened while we're at home. It could have happened while we're traveling in a hotel. But it happened while we're in the RV. And we've adapted, right? So it's just like we're living in a sticks and bricks. A little bit different in the logistics, but there's a veterinary hospital nearby. We're lucky enough that there was this neurological vet nearby. We're near an airport, so Ellen could fly out. So as we travel around the country, these are the things that we now are going to consider. Are we going to be close enough to an airport if we have to go home to be with family or do something like that? Is there a veterinary hospital nearby? Those are things that we kind of thought about. A lot of people think about, is there a hospital nearby? And you kind of take that for granted. You kind of take the vet for granted. You kind of take the airport for granted when you live in a sticks and bricks. When you're moving around, we got to think more about those things. Not to say that we didn't, and this is new to us, but it's just, you got to be mindful when you go out there that, if those things are concerned, if you think you have a health problem or there's a potential for a health problem, or you got some concerns or worry or anxiety about that, then you just make sure that you get close enough to those areas that have those facilities and infrastructure that you may need to depend on. So that's the story I got for today. Sorry it wasn't a better video. If you do like the content, hit the like button to get the algorithm to pick it up, and then also subscribe so you get more videos, hopefully more entertaining and cheerful than this one. Thanks for watching. Take care.